Rocket Racing presents Show Us Your Tips, day 2 of the Bool. We're previewing first of all here today. Beaver, how'd the weekend go for you?
Mate, just trying to remember back. It was a pretty good weekend, I
Long
think.
time ago. It was a good
That
weekend.
was a long time ago. I think I got a few winners up, if memory serves me correct. What do you recall, mate?
You did all right. Yeah, it was a long weekend, but I think we did all right. Yeah, I ended up finding a few. You were keen on Hardware Lane. You're keen on
Yes, I
a
got
few
off to
throughout
a
the
good
card,
start.
and I think they all ran all right. Mr. Mozart, your rubber stamp.
Yeah,
So there
yes,
was
it
a
was
few
very
through.
good.
The only disappointment was probably that Caliper, but we suggested there's only 2 chances in that race. Down south wasn't bad either. So a good. Oh, we didn't look at down south. We looked at Queensland and Morpheville, where a couple of results there as well.
Yes, I'm just having a bit of a flick through back here. Yeah, it wasn't too bad a weekend after all. Um, what's on the 30th? Hawkesbury.
Yes, that was right. Yes, it was Hawkesbury. So a bit of mixed. I think it was largely positive. We
Norwegian
actually,
Bliss.
yeah,
Norwegian Bliss, Kerwin's Lane. I tipped Mr. Mozart, Tycoonist. I think we said was a danger to Malkovich. Just couldn't see it out. Heavy track cost it. We knew Deep Strike or Caliper would be the only 2 chances in that race. So we did quite well. Hardware Lane, you're right, was a good result. So not too bad there. Eagle Farm was a little bit trickier. We looked at the later races there. Go Wanji was scratched in the last. Canterbury was a good win, snuck home. Rothfire was very disappointing. Character was outstanding. That was a really good win.
yeah, which we both knocked. So we got it was about anything we got wrong, really.
Yeah, it was about the only things we got wrong. But overall, Hawkesbury treated us very well, which was nice.
Definitely. But we get to the Ball tomorrow where there's some rain coming just for something different at Warrnambool during the carnival. The rail is still in the true, and we'll see where they get to in the track. They might start trekking wider if that rain does come, but we've had a couple of these days in recent years where the rail's been fine as well. So we'll watch for that and see how it plays out. But we kick off with the 2-year-olds over the 1,200 metres, where all bar one is unraced. You got any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a tricky affair because the race one is the favourite and all the rest are unraced. So its form's okay and has the experience here. But if I was going to have a bet, I'm pretty keen to go Yellow Sam, the first starter with Oliver aboard from the Lindsay Smith stable. I think it can run really well.
Yeah, same. I'm tipping a decent day for Lindsay Smith at
Yeah,
his
me
home
too.
carnival. But trials are good. Oliver booked some intent there. And as you can see in the market, it's been supported as well. Jamara gap back to third last time. Was brave up on pace at Caulfield, but there could be a stink here with set up for this carnival. The more I look at it, even someone like Matt Williams could have a horse or have his horse ready to go to pull off an ambush first up here. So Yellow Sam on top for me as well, but no real confidence in the first. 1400 meter maiden is race number 2, I should say, where I think Life Lessons made a pretty good debut, slightly held up as well. Ran home, McDougall sticks, and I think this is a winnable race for it.
Yeah, I was thinking the same here. I thought, again, maybe the first starter from the Williams camp might be the main danger, but yeah, I did like Life Lessons as well.
Race 3 is a 1700 meter 3-year-old maiden. Anything for us here?
This was a very, very difficult race. When I did the form for this, couldn't really find too much out of this one.
No, fair enough. Any dad? Sorry.
Yeah, 1700 meter maidens at the Bool is not easy.
No, I know. I just gravitated towards. I like the last start of the King's Gospel. Hopefully, we can. They're trekking wider in the gate suits, and Hugh Bowman booked for a ride might be a setup here. So all those things pointed towards me finding it on top. but it's tricky business in these sort of races, as you've said. Don't know if it gets much better with a 4-year-old maiden, though. Again, over the 1,700 metres. Did you want to play in this one?
Look, I thought this was another tricky affair. I did like Henry the Lion around the $5 mark in a pretty open race. I thought it flushed home really well last start at stall. Only over 1,300. Definitely looking for further. Gets the extra 400 here in the 1,700 out to the 1,700. I think it can run really well. It's drawn extremely wide. I think maybe the widest in gate 19. Only one scratching so far, so hopefully a few scratching. So I'll need a little bit of luck in running, but it could run home at the Bool here and be hard to beat.
That race beat me. I don't know which way to go there, so we'll move on to the first of the jumps on a day. Benchmark 120 Steeplechase. Whereas the market suggest I have got Runaway on top. Has been leading up quite well in a couple of warm-up trials. He's had the trial on the track, which it won well, and will roll along on the pace and should prove hard to run past in and some weaker competition, what it's been chasing as well. Any thoughts in the jumps?
No, I went for Under the Bridge.
Okay.
From the Wild stable. Had a nice win last start. Came from well back over the flat over 1,600. So I think it's going to be the sharpest of the horses on the flat. So if it can jump, it could be well to beat. Wild generally has these things well schooled. And I just think Runaway's a hard horse to catch. It's a bit of a cat, if you ask me. So not a horse that excites me. So I'm hoping the other one might be a little bit too sharp.
The feature hurdle on a day is the Galleywood over the 3,200. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, look, I'm going to stick with Saunter Boy here. Cherry Ripe fitness for this. Looks like it's been set for this. Was a nice win last start. Again, short enough in a jumps race, but looks the hardest to beat here. Main danger, Paul Brusker's St. Arnica won well 2 starts back. Probably didn't run as well as expected last start. Could have improved here, but Saunter Boy for me.
Yeah, agree. Nice win last start. Mar and Eustace teaming with Bateman and should prove very hard to beat for all the reasons you've covered off very well there, Beaver. Race 7 kicks off the quaddie with a wide benchmark handicap over the 1,000. I really like the trials of Super Thief, who's had a couple of trials in preparation for this. They've been good. I think it might be a bit of obviously everything here seems to be a target race, but Blake McDougall down in the, I shouldn't say down in weights, it's down in the, what do you call it? Down in a ballot, I should say. But Blake on, and I think might have a bit more ability than some of these. So on top for me, from Hypersonic, the Bowman McAvoy combination. What are you thinking, Beaver?
I went Super Thief as well, mate. It goes well. First up, has really good first up form. Like the trials myself, I think it's drawn well in the 8. This is a pretty open field. So I think Super Thief is hard to beat, and Cecil Street Lad could be the main danger.
Beautiful. The feature on the other feature on the card is the Wangoom, the listed over the 1,200 metres. What are you doing here?
The good old Wangoom. Yeah, what a beauty. Look, it's hard to go past Showmanship.
Yep.
I think it's perfectly set up for this. Probably the best bet on the card, if you ask me. This is a very winnable race for it. Showed how good it was last preparation. Looks like it's probably been set for a race like this. Perfectly drawn. Oliver aboard. $3.40, I think, is a good price.
I don't have a lot more to add again. It's very hard to beat here. Again, set to kick off here. Good horse. I think there's no issues or concerns with the wet. Lots of ticks there. If I was going to have one outside the market, Frankie Pino, it might be the sneaky blouser out wide. And if you've been with Bless, I still don't know how Bless didn't run a place last start, but maybe some Blake McDougall magic sneaking along the inside can get a bit of a result there if you want a couple at odds. But a good race, and looking forward to seeing a return of Showmanship. Race 9, a benchmark 70, where, well, you've mentioned yours, but my best on the card here is Visinari, changed to the Price Kent stable and absolutely bolted in. First up, used to be a bit of a spruik horse up in Sydney. Looks to have come back in good order. Jamie Kah on, and should roll to the front and lead this field. A pretty merry dance, I think, Beaver.
Yeah, I think so as well. Resumed very nicely for the Price Kent stable. Jamie Kah to take it to the front. She rates them well. Should be winning.
And we wrap up with a benchmark 64 over the 1,700 metres. How are you taking us home?
Yeah, another open race to finish the day here. I've landed on Sachin, the 13. Again, Jamie Kah. First up was pretty good. It was a very nice second, and then didn't get a lot of luck last start at Caulfield. This is much easier than the race won by Chartres, and it's a real step back in grade here after a really nice first up run. Not a lot of luck. It was pretty good last preparation. I think it's a real chance.
Yeah, I agree. It will run well, and I thought the danger was hard questions. I sort of taught myself a narrative that just gave out on fitness first up, and coming home, Oliver booked by this stage down the outside could suit, and I think fits in well. I think they're the two main chances. So
100% agree.
Agree on a couple there at the back end of the day. For progretracing.com.au, don't forget to check them out. Your best and value.
Yeah, my best is in race 8, number 4, Showmanship. I think it's a nice bet. And my value comes up in the last, race 10, number 13, Sachin, around the $8 mark.
Beautiful. I'm going to make my best. I said, as I mentioned, Visinari, but I think Showmanship will run very well. And one outside the market is a bit of value. As I mentioned, Frankie Pino might be a nice sniper's place chance there. We head to Sydney, where it is currently rated heavy still at Canterbury. A good day today, so I'm imagining at some point we're going to dry out, but very wet conditions. Full disclosure, I haven't had a great deal of time to get through this card as well as the Bool, but we'll get through as well we can. Beaver kicking off with the 12-year-olds over the 1,200 metres. What are you thinking to start the day?
Yeah, look, I've settled on Zambezi River. It's obviously had a few problems, but its first race start was outstanding. Ran a very nice second at Randwick behind Sir Jardin, which we know is a pretty decent horse. And then in its second race start, just didn't get going against Extravagant Star in that. But has since trialled really well on a heavy track. So I think it's primed to run well, fresh, and hard to go past McDonald Waller combination.
Yeah, trial was all right, as was the trial of Ambassadors for Berry. And beyond that, I just thought Shalailed was disappointing last start. So I was sort of thinking that's the hole in the market. So I think it's a chance to maybe back the other two, but haven't been through a great deal of the rest of that, the unraced brigade there. Race 2 is the Schweppes Plate for the Phillies, 2-year-old Phillies, 1,200 metres. Any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, look, I've settled on the favourite McDonald Cummings combination this time. Kin just battled last start, but again, that was in a bit better company than this. Prior to that, trialled really, really well at Warwick Farm, and in its previous preparation, ran a couple of lovely races down at Flemington, late last year, early this year. If it can find that form again, I think it can take care of this field. Probably go forward from the wide gate and may give them something to chase. But again, there's lots of Waller horses in this race, as well as some other Cummings dangers.
Yep. The Tim Clark at Canterbury from gate 3 was the main danger, I thought, rolling forward. Led up last time in Canterbury and was just nabbed by What might be an okay horse, and we'll give you something to give you a sight if the fence is in your favour, and you've covered off Kin quite well there. The 3-year-old maiden race 3 over the 12.50 now. Any thoughts here?
Yeah, tough race here. I was just going for the fresh one, resuming Concordia from the Lesbridge stable. Thought its trials were really nice, and based off those, I thought it could run really well in a pretty open market.
I was looking towards, what have I done here? I've just closed my map. Gate 1, Alicia Collett Tarazi, hopefully can roll forward and be very hard to beat. Not a bad run last time, just nabbed late at Warwick Farm. For me, race 4 is the 1500 meter benchmark 72. Have you had enough of too much caviar yet?
Yeah, I haven't really found it in this race, to be brutally honest. Thought this was a tricky affair, and for that reason, I went at a horse at a little bit of value here in King of the Castle. Got previously had form over in New Zealand, which was pretty reasonable. Wasn't tested too much in its trials, and then first up here wasn't the best of runs behind Cafe Royale, but wasn't that far from the leader. I think now getting out an extra 250 meters will certainly suit that. I think it's $13 offers good value.
Yeah, it's quite trying to make this because I wanted to pen too much caviar forever, but it's also I'm a bit worried about map favors, and it's going to go straight to the front from gate 10 as well, so a bit concerned there. But if you're potting both it and perhaps Baracello, I'm left with short shorts on top, which comes out of the Valana race on the heavy, back to Midweek Company, and may well just get a nice leaders back run and have the first shot at the leader here with too much caviar. So on top, but no real confidence again in a tricky card. Race 5, benchmark 64 over the 1900 meters. Leave me out of this, Beaver. You got anything?
Oh, mate, I didn't really have a lot. Again, I was looking for a bit of value, so if I was going to have a bet, I'd look at something around Zazibas at around the $9-10 mark from the Wallace stable, written by Berry. Presented third up here, won well first up, may have just had second up syndrome last start. Could improve here.
Race 6 is over 1100 meters, benchmark 72. What do you got for us here?
Yeah, I've settled on $1 Billion Baby, resuming here. I think this horse has a little bit of ability, has the right draw, races set up to get a few favours here. I think it'll be hard to beat. Couple of dangers though. One at value, Oh Please Diana, resuming. Can run a nice race and always does pop up. So around the 20s.
Yeah, sort of. It stuck out to me in this race.
Yes.
But the trials were a bit
So.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, keep
going. And Washington Towers has turned its form around, and 2 from 2 from this prep. So can't rule it out, but I got $1 Billion Baby on top.
Yeah, Spruik. Spruik horse, I think it's come back okay for this, and I agreed the Washington Towers going straight to the front just has me scared, as it sort of does throughout the day. Might be able to roll along. Tim Clark in control at Canterbury again. Seem to have tipping a nice day for the standout leaders here. So see how maps play out for us there. We wrap up the day for benchmark 72 over the 1250, where Democracy Manifest was very impressive last time, much to the pleasure of Darren Flindell. Comes here, drops in weight, and J-Max sticks. Don't think we have to think too much about this one, do we?
No, I think $2.15 is a steal.
Yeah.
I think it's get on now. I don't think it'll start 2.15. I think this will start odds on. So yeah, hard to beat.
Yeah, I think perhaps again map might be the only concern there, but gate 2 J-Max not going to be far away. So it'll be my best at Canterbury Democracy Manifest for progretracing.com.au, and my value will make it What have I got here? Let's make it. I don't have a great deal, actually. Let's make it one of the 2-year-olds, Rit Rose, in the Phillies race. What have you done, Beaver?
Yeah, I've got Democracy Manifest in the last as well as my best bet of the day, and my value bet in race 4, number 4, King of the Castle.
Very nice. Anything up north?
Of course.
At the Eagle Farm again?
Eagle Farm. There's a few I had at Eagle Farm. I'm just trying to find them now. Bear with me. I think race 2, number 2, Street Dancer. Around the even money mark. I think it'll be probably one of the hardest to beat on the day up there. The other ones I had came up later in the day. Pretty ordinary field up there, sort of fields up there. Race 6, number 12 Savagal from the Wallace stable. It's going to be super hard to beat. And in the last, race 8, number 5 Delexo. I think it can bounce back to the winners list.
Very good, Beaver. Good punting tomorrow and good punting for the rest of the Bool. And we'll be back Thursday to look towards the Sangster in Adelaide, as well as some good racing around Australia. Take care, guys, and we'll talk to everyone very soon.